In conversation with Mr. Oberoi, we welcome back Mr. Manav Thadani, founder chairman of Hotelivate. Please give them a round of applause.
Honor office, Arjun.
Thank you very much. With a great view. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry you're getting to see me a little too often today, but it's one of those evenings. Arjun, thank you. This is your second HICSA from what I gather.
I believe so. I don't know where I went missing in between. So thank you for bringing me back, and delighted to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So Arjun, I'll start simply, right? The theme for this year's conference is leadership in a world of fire, right? As someone who's leading a luxury brand, how would you describe the moment we are in today?
So we're full of news at the moment, and I assume you're not talking about the oil price.
No.
It's an uncertain world that we live in, and clearly our attempt is to be nimble in our thinking and swift in our actions, and I think we've learned that through the biggest challenge that we've ever had, which was COVID, of course. We own most of our hotels. The lights had to stay on. We had to find new ways and means to adapt. And I think that's probably the most appropriate way to put the world we live in. There will be disruption. There'll be dysfunction as well. And ultimately, we need to be in a position to respond and react in a nimble and appropriate way, which will allow us to maintain our momentum and to progress with clarity on the bigger picture.
Right. And I think if I recall 20 years ago or 25 years ago when the Rajvilas opened, for example, I think 90% of your guests were foreigners and 10% were Indians. And I think that has also changed. Am I correct?
That's been the savior in many ways. I mean, we were sunk in COVID, quite frankly. But the mindset has changed. I think many of us benefited from that surge in demand from the domestic side of the segments that really developed. Of course, marriages were always there. But it's about families traveling and consumption, Indian consumption, reaching a new level. From being very savings focused, we really tried to enjoy life for what it was worth, and it was very precious at that time. And that's sustained. So the Indian segment has grown domestically, also overseas for that matter. We're getting more Indian travelers in places like Marrakesh. So again, it's the demand for premium products, it's the demand for aspirational travel, and brands such as ours have clearly benefited from that.
Right. I'm going by newspaper reports. You've signed some 20 new hotel projects?
We have, yeah.
Is it 20? Is it a larger number, or?
We've got 30 new projects in the pipeline.
30?
30, of which I think 19 or 20 are management contracts. So that's quite a departure from our previous expansion format, if you like.
Right.
So most of them are Oberois. We have 10 or 12 Tridents amongst those. Yes, there is an expansion spirit about the company. There's growth in the pipeline, and the pipeline is expanding. I think India is in a good place. We are part of that. We're one of the oldest hospitality companies in the country, and
right.
We're well poised to participate and contribute towards that growth.
And you have one in London, if I'm correct?
We do. Yes,
and that's
London's coming.
London is new. Is it a conversion? What is that?
Well, it is a conversion. It's 5 townhouses, but the key promise there is the location. We're in the heart of Mayfair. We're opposite Claridge's on Brook Street, on the corner of Bond Street. We couldn't have a better location. I think it's an opportunity for us to showcase our capability. And also, our brand deserves to be in cities like London. 25% of our business still comes from the US, and they travel to London. So we've been very focused on international expansion for some decades now, and it's time to come back into the gateway cities and present our brand deservedly so. So we look forward to that. That'll be 28.
And any other international hotel project that you've got which you're excited about?
Wadi Safar will open, which is close to Riyadh. So we're opening a small resort there. just outside Daraya, which is the UNESCO site. And that'll be opening in October or November. So that's 60 keys. We have projects in Thailand, of course in Nepal. We're looking at the Maldives, and we have to be back in Dubai for sure.
Right.
Also in Egypt, where we've had a stronghold for many years, and we're launching 2 boats, 2 river cruises later on this year.
You still have those boats that you used to have in Egypt?
We do.
You
We do. 2 Nile cruises, 25 cabins, and an excellent rate. We get over $1,500 a cabin. We're leading the market there. We have been for some years, and we're going to add inventory now with these smaller boats, which are 7 cabins, and for private hire. So you can bespoke your itineraries to your needs, and that's something which will be, again, a step up in the premium service and positioning of what we offer.
Right. So is there a point at which the growth becomes a leadership challenge rather than an operational one?
I think growth is, if that's the objective, then growth is top of mind at the moment. And it's something which we are focused to deliver in the next couple of years. And I think once the ball starts to turn, the wheel starts to turn, we will be announcing more projects along the way. We haven't grown sufficiently, I think. Perhaps there was a reason for that. But I think the future bodes well for growing both brands, and operationally we will be well positioned to execute those projects. So really it's about planning the operational side to deliver the hotels as they open. From 28 onwards, really, that's when 3 or 4 hotels will open every year.
Is there a risk of growth hurting the quality of operation? Because one thing that everyone in this room will agree with, that when you walk into an Oberoi, you have the bench, the standard just goes up. You think there's a risk of that ever changing if you grow too fast, or?
Well, there is a risk. I think there's always a risk when you grow too fast. But at the same time, there has to be clarity of purpose. And I think we identify opportunities based on what our DNA offers and what our brands offer. If it doesn't meet that criteria, we won't do it. We won't grow for the sake of growth. We want to be true to our brand promise and to the ultimate outcome. And in order to achieve that, we will make sure that we put in place the processes to deliver the intimacy and the sincerity of service that is the hallmark of our brand. And that is key to our success. That is what creates a distinction of our brand, I think. And we will continue to focus on that and to invest in that.
Right. I see a photograph here of your most recent hotel, and I had the pleasure of actually staying at the Rajgir property. Tell us a little bit about that, because it took a long time to fruition. I think Mr. PRS Oberoi bought it 30 years ago.
Well, it's a lease, so it was a joint venture initially with the Madhya Pradesh government, and of course the government didn't want to invest, so they converted it to a lease. Then we didn't have water, then perhaps the cycles weren't right. Ultimately, there was a need to develop this. It's a fantastic, stunning site, a palace which goes back 350 years. It's on the edge of the Panna National Reserve. Khajuraho wasn't very well served, so we worked with Indigo to deliver the flights. It is a big investment for us, but I think it's appropriate for our brand. And I think this hotel will open up Khajuraho as a destination. And as we continue to look at new destinations, these are the kind of products that will become, in a way, halo projects, but ultimately they will deliver terrific top and bottom line.
Right. So, you said you had water problem, and that yet you've gone and built this beautiful lake, which is quite stunning when you're having dinner or lunch out there. So is that man-made, and is that your water?
That is a man-made lake, but it was actually conceived by the Raja of this time, the Bundela dynasty.
Right.
With the palace at the time. So we've just reinstated it, actually.
Yeah.
You probably got that table, I imagine.
Sorry?
Were you
No, they didn't give me that table. We were a bigger group than 4.
Okay. It's a great, so it's a picturesque setting, and clearly there's many opportunities to celebrate this property, but also to enjoy the wildlife. The Panna Tiger Reserve has over 80 tigers.
I saw
and it was
four
under
of
the
them.
it was you saw four.
I
of them.
saw
There
4
you
tigers
go.
that morning.
And very much under the radar. People didn't go to Panna because the access wasn't that great.
No, I think it's one of the best villas that I've
and
stayed and enjoyed.
You've got some of these fantastic temples. I hope you visited them
Yes,
as
I
well.
did.
Some of the naughty temples as well.
I was with my family, so.
Yeah, okay. Next time.
So, let's see, with a growing pipeline, maintaining a deeply personal nature of Oberoi hospitality becomes more complex, right? How do you scale a brand or build intimacy? I guess you answered some of that in the previous thing, but how do you do that?
It is with the people that we have, and we have with the pipeline of hotels, we also have the pipeline of people that will deliver the intimacy. I think we've always invested in people. That's been the hallmark of our brand. That's the strength of our brand. And growth is important for them too. I think for many years we've been fortunate enough to be seen as the gold standard for delivering high quality people. And some of those people have moved on. But I think a lot of the people are looking to come back. And we will ensure that Oberoi DNA stays with us for the period that we look now to expand on. It's not always possible. The culture is deep. Vikram and I are we're very passionate about that, and it's something which is very true to our brand and to our family ethos. So as long as we're there, we'll continue to invest in that. And I'm sure it'll continue. I'm very confident.
I completely agree with you because I think I have similarity, right? People who work with me have gone on to become leaders in many of the hotel companies. But if you look at the top 6 hotel companies that are here in India, international, 2 of them are being led by people with Oberoi background. So they started their career at your hotels. You're very known to be very personally involved with the design part of hotels. That's I guess, your favorite part, perhaps. And the project stage and not so much in operations. Is that by fate? Is that by design? Or is that just a personal preference?
Well, I was fortunate enough to spend many years with Mr. P.R.S. Oberoi, and I worked very closely with him. He was passionate about the product, as he was about every aspect of our business. But working day in, day out, I understood what were the nuances or perhaps I understood, time will tell, what made a great hotel. And I think that stayed with me, and that's something that I'm particularly passionate about myself. Now, having said that, I think in order to succeed in this business, you have to be operationally focused too. We all started with an operations background. I did myself. I trained initially with the Oberoi Group, and then back in India at the Grand. Sudhir is here. We started at the Grand together. We were just talking about it. And I made a small impression there, but at the end of the day, it was projects which I was most interested in. And I had that opportunity to work with Mr. Oberoi, and that really has stayed with me. And I think product development is key to ensuring the Oberoi DNA. As with people, product quality is going to be key to sustaining that brand positioning. So hopefully, with all the people we have now working with us, we have a big team, almost 50 people in our project office with all the new projects coming. That also will be instilled in them, and they will carry that forward. So look forward to delivering many such hotels,
So what remains non-negotiable about the Oberoi way?
Well, I think the quality of the product is key, isn't it? You can't compromise on a good hotel, particularly it needs to be in an A-plus location. It needs to have a setting which creates a distinction. I think many of our hotels, or most of our hotels, are uniquely located. The quality of our people, that's the key. That's what drives service. They're at the core of what we deliver and what we're known for.
So product and people, or both, or?
Well, it starts with product, but it's sustained with people. If you don't have the people, as Rai Bahadur M.S. Oberoi used to say, you can make a hotel out of gold, but if you don't have good service, no one will come back. And that's what many of our guests talk about. They don't talk about the expensive bathrooms or the special experience they had in their spa. They talk about the people who delivered it. And that is very gratifying. It's a matter of great pride, and we feel it inspires us, it ensures that there's a continuity, and hopefully that will continue. That's our endeavor.
Right. So going back, you said you're doing London. If you had to choose, let's say, 2 more global cities that you would want to be in, where would those be?
I think we were just talking about it. Bangkok would be great. I think Asia has a huge potential. And we are an Asian brand, so we need to go east. Dubai, of course, we need to be in Dubai. We need to be in a key location in Dubai. You can't ignore it, notwithstanding the problems of recent times. But I think these are the key growth areas, and we need to be in locations which are appropriate for our brand and appropriate for the kind of service we deliver. So they're showcase locations, but at the same time, they allow us also to demonstrate our capability at the highest level.
And if you had to choose in India, do you see any gaps? Would you like to be in a particular city, or?
We'd love to be in Chennai. I know we've been trying for many years. The rate hasn't been great, but I think it'll grow over time. Of course, Hyderabad deserves an Oberoi. We were there many years ago. We've just signed a project there with Prestige, so that'll
We have a lot of people from Chennai and Hyderabad.
Yes.
I hope they're listening to you and may feel.
We'd love to be in Chennai, for sure. And of course, other secondary cities for the Trident brand. I think it's important that the Oberoi brand commands a certain rate, and it's important that we fulfill that ambition. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to deliver the kind of service and product which has a business proposition that works. But beyond that, there are many destinations in India. If the access is good, you can create many results.
Right.
And we have to work with the airlines to bring those destinations, make them more accessible and easier to reach.
Name me a personal hobby that we don't know about you.
Well, there's no secret that I love classic cars. I think Bill was here earlier, so he has an equal passion for the finer crafted automobiles of the world. We have a Concorde that's been well received, so we'll continue to use that as a brand promotional opportunity or platform. But yes, I like my sport, and generally try to travel as much as I can.
Do you have a few classical cars of your own?
We do, not as many as Mr. Oberoi used to have. He had some fantastic cars. He had a couple of Maharaja cars which were absolutely outstanding. Unfortunately, no longer part of the family garage, but it's part of India's motoring heritage. We had some of the best cars in the world between the wars. 30% of all Rolls Royces came to India.
Right.
It's because of the Maharajas cultivating their interests. But that's
And what, in your opinion, is the biggest myth about leadership?
Probably that we have all the answers. We don't. We work with very talented people, and we bring together a consensus to find the answers for any specific solution. I think I'd love to have all the answers. Vikram and I are incredibly collaborative. We take everybody's opinion. We have a huge amount of experience in the company. Many of our senior leaders are with us for 20, 25, maybe even more. They have the Oberoi DNA in their blood, and we constantly go to them for advice, and that's been, I think, a successful a formula for success, and hopefully it'll continue.
Right. And my second last question, what's the one thing about leadership that no one prepares you for? You know, you're relatively new in your role.
Yeah. Well, there's no end to the responsibility, I can tell you. So,
right.
And if you feel deeply about what you're doing, your responsibility only grows, and that's fine. That's part of your love for what you do, and we hopefully should do it well, and we enjoy it. So hopefully it continues, yeah.
My last question, and it's more out of curiosity. I've been to your office while you're not there, and I think you have a wing as your desk or something, if I'm correct,
yes.
like an aeroplane.
Yeah.
So where did that idea come from, and how did that come about?
It's just a love for design. I think I saw something similar in a magazine, and I said, we must do something. If the opportunity presents itself, let's put a wing in our office. And somebody called me and said they have an aircraft fuselage available, which could be converted into some office furniture. So I said, send me the wing, and that's where it ended up. But yeah, it's part of our design ethos, thinking out of the box and beyond.
Right. Arjun, thank you so much. It's
pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you, and
thank you for
we
having
hope
me.
we can get you back again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.